Hello crafters, this is Suzanne from A Creative Muse, and I just finished watching the Glimmer Workshop. Wow, after I finally found it. But thanks so much V&A for showing us where to find it. And when I saw where it was, I was like, okay, you have to go to Spellbinders website, click on the education link, and then you click on Glimmer Workshop. I will put a direct link to the Glimmer Workshop page where you can see the video, okay? So it was well worth it, about 3 hours long. So you're going to see beginners, intermediate, and definitely advanced. I learned some new things that I did not even know existed. But one question that was asked is how to use the Hello Bloom stencil. So I used it both with the die, and that's this wonderful set here. This is the third time showing it, but it's so fabulous. So here it is on a card with the die. Here it is on one of those glimmer card front sentiments, just stenciled on a card. So I had this one that I was gonna do on my own, but seeing that a few folks asked, and I did not send you guys to the right place so you could watch the video from the beginning, but thank goodness, you can watch the replay over and over again. I'm going to watch it myself. I missed about the first half hour. So I'm going to stencil on this card with you guys. This is the card is full of hugs. Glimmer card front sentiment hot foil plate. It is glimmered with the Sky Bright hot foil roll. And I'm going to use some Gina K inks. You could use any ink you want. You could use your oxides. You could use your distress ink. I'm going to go with Gina K. That's just where I am right now with my ink blending. I love Gina K. Also, though, I wanted to show you guys. I did want to answer this question because I did answer someone there. Whether you're using the Hammermill cardstock, which comes as a ream, this is 250 sheets, 100-pound cardstock, 8.5 by 11-inch standard sheet of paper. So is the Glimmer Specialty cardstock. This is also standard sheet of paper, only 10 sheets, okay? So there is a Glimmer cardstock that you can use at Spellbinders to glimmer on. Super smooth cardstock. There's also Hammermill cardstock. Okay. I use the Hammermill a lot, but I had put this away, so I'm going to pull it out and use it again for certain things that don't foil the way that I'd like it to foil. But this is Hammermill foiling. Hexigem blooms here. Colored it up. This I did last night with my Olo markers, okay? Here are my Olo markers. And it turned out fine. So you use alcohol markers on this specialty cardstock, whether it's the Spellbinders Glimmer Specialty cardstock, Hammermill, whichever smooth cardstock that you're using, you can use alcohol markers on it, okay? Love. And then I cut it out with the coordinating die. I use the Essential Hexigems, layered up 2 layers, and I'm going to do this, put it on a card front. They even had this in the Glimmer Workshop. This I have to practice because I don't have the best luck with this, but oh boy, Kim, she glimmered it and it was just absolutely amazing. So I have a second one here that I can play with, but I just wanted to show you that you can use alcohol markers to color this up. I don't know about the water-based. You know, water-based usually goes with watercolor cardstock, etc. Let's get into stenciling. Now, when it comes to this stenciling, I'm going to tell you, and I said it in the video, I am not a clean stenciler. I make a mess. So I'm going to do necessary steps for me. You do you. If you can stay within a little area and you're fine. I kind of have a tendency of going all over the place. I will approach this like how most crafters will. So that's pretty good, actually. It's an oversized stencil. You have 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4. You will see the number. See my finger behind it? That's 1. If you're seeing it this way, you're upside down. So look for that number 1 right here by the dot. That's the first thing. Then you're going to line up these dots. These dots are registration marks, kind of like your electronic die cut machine. Now, what I did with the first one, because I didn't want to be over like this, I came in about there. About here is a good spot for me. This is a 4 1/4 inch panel, okay? Why did I just do that? This little leaf was a problem the first time I did it. So I just want to make sure that I am quote unquote in frame. My stencil laid down. There's the registration marks. You can take a pencil, lightly. If you're going to die cut it, then it doesn't matter. Okay, I zoom my camera down a little bit. See how I'm just lightly putting a dot there, a dot there, a dot there, a dot there, because I have to erase it, okay? What I did, just for my sanity, and it wouldn't shift, hold my finger here, and I will take some tape, because I have to secure it on the back side. If you go oversized, like an oversized piece, then it's much easier. I would suggest doing this on a bigger sheet and then stenciling and then cutting it down. But I'm showing you just in case you're going to do it like how I did. So I put some tape on the back to hold my cardstock in place. Flip it over. See my little registration dots? Then I have this spot open, here open, here open. I'm going to cover them up for my sanity. I'm going to use scrapbook.com mint tape. To tape it down, I'm using yellow tape. But to cover this up, that's kind of wasting my yellow tape, to be honest with you. So I like to play with both of them. Yes, I'm not using my Spellbinders Pro Shears to cut the mint tape. Why? It has adhesive. I'm going to do rough cut. Come back into my tonic scissors. I told you I'm only going to use it for paper. I use it for the hot foiling too, but I'm not going to use it for anything that has anything. I want to have that scissor last me for years on end. Super sharp, super fabulous as she is. Here we are. Applied my little tape, have a tape on the back. I want to do yellow here and then blue on the other blooms. So yellow here and then blue on those outer pieces, okay? Keep the packaging. The packaging will help you. Here is your example on the back of the packaging. That's what I did the first time I used this stencil. Always keep the packaging, even if you trim it down then. I'm going to go with, I'm using my ink, what is this thing called? The ink stand. I'm using lemon drop, prickly pear, honey mustard. The honey mustard I don't need yet. That's a darker color to go for the centers, okay? Might not even need a prickly pear. I'm using some small blending brushes like this. If I go bigger, like the standard, I'm going to make a mess. Spellbinders does carry their own standard size blending brush in a 3-pack. They also have this mini one. This now is too small for what I'm doing here. And I want to dedicate one for pink and one for green. And obviously that one is purple. So I'm not going to use it in this application, okay? I might have to get another set then. Let's go with yellow. It's a little bright yellow. And I'm using my glass board glass mat. Tap off. And I'm going to come on. Oh, this color is like super light. Look at that. Let me come on in from the stencil then. Now, this is a tip I learned from Jennifer McGuire. Rotate. Go to the right, go to the left. See when I'm going to the left how it's starting to kind of look better? Come on in. Like so. All right, so this is now your biggest flower. Now I'm going to come into that second one. You see how wide I'm going? This is why I use the tape, because I know I'm going to go off track, per se. Hold on, let me go back into this. There we go. Come over here, tap it, and come on in. There we go. Love, love, love this stencil. Okay. All right. So now that's just stencil number 1 in yellow or whichever color you want to use. Now we're going to gently peel it off. Got to peel from the back first to get my paper loose, and then lift it away. There's your flower. Come over here, remove your mint tape, but you're going to keep it on the side because you may need to use it again when it comes into more details. Then come in. This is what I do. You don't have to do what I do, but I found that this worked for me. Take a piece of paper towel, isopropyl alcohol. I have mine in a spray bottle. Spritz a little bit, like so, and gently wipe. And these are the dots. Don't go this way, that way. You see how I'm kind of, so you don't lift it, okay? Just gently wipe. You can also do a kind of a blotting technique, like flip it over, blot again. Just light, which is so hard for me. I'm always heavy-handed, so it is what it is. Coming now into quadrant number 2. Bring my stencil back over. Take off the back piece. I learned that the hard way too. It'll grab onto everything, so. Then line up the registration marks again. Hold on. There's my dot. Where's my other dot? Dot, 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 and dot. There's my dots. I can tape it like this too. You can go this way. You can wrap it. Why not? Notice I'm using yellow tape because she has a better hold than this one. Right there. I'm covering the flower. That's what you're looking for. Me tape it. Tape it. Still within the registration marks-ish. There we go. What I'm looking for is I don't want this blending over too much. Here is fine. Now you see I have some open spaces. So I'm going to cover up my open spaces. Cover. Cover. Oh, most definitely. Even down here I'm covering. I go wide. So I already know I don't want to make a mess. Cover. You're going to cover all these open spaces. If you have a tendency of blending like I do, cover them up. And you only have this exposed. It's going to be the darker version on here. So you're going to go with a darker color than the yellow, okay? This is going to be those blue flowers. Different color, if you want. You don't have to, but I am going to do that. I'm going to go with prickly pear for those little spots there. Different brush. And tap, tap, tap. And come on in. Go left, go right. Again. Come on in. Now, if you are making a super big mess, you can gently wipe here. Okay, let me come back up here. So that's prickly pear. Done like that. Now, when you have your brush like this, a good practice is in between each use. I'm going to do it at the end. I'm going to rub these on my microfiber cloth just to take off the ink so it doesn't make them hard, okay? But for the sake of the video, I'm not going to do it here because I'm trying to go a little bit fast-ish. Let me go with the blues. All right, so now we're here into the blues. I'm using Sea Glass Tranquil Teal. I think I'm going to go with the Sea Glass. Let me see how light this is. This is a color I haven't used yet, actually. I'm just liking these Gina K inks. I don't know what it is. I just really like them. It was a recommendation in a Facebook group about her inks being good for blending. And I'm like, I've been testing it and like, okay, it's actually pretty good. All right, so come on here, tap. And come on in. I think I'm going to stick with this color. Maybe not the Tranquil Teal. That might be too dark. Okay. There I go. Oh, I did pretty good here. Not mixing over here. If you have a tendency of doing that, you can gently wipe this back. You know what I mean? You can wipe it back. While the stencil is still on, just wipe it back. Don't push any crazy area because it still has the alcohol on it, but you can gently wipe it back. Oh, look at that. Pretty. Tap, tap, tap. Sometimes you want to tap off that little excess. And notice I'm going in that same rotation. I didn't do that middle, did I? I just realized I did not do that middle. Oh, that blue looks so pretty. Sea Glass. Oh, I'm liking this Sea Glass. Come on in. There we go. Now I'm going to just wipe a little bit because I still need to do that area there. Right in here. Going to just wipe that up. I'm going to stick with prickly pear because I have to do that center even darker. Then again, maybe I will do honey mustard. Nah. I'm going to stick with prickly pear. Come on in. Tap it out. right here. Try my best to stay within the quadrant. This could be a good spot to then come in with something like this. Oh gosh, I'm going to dedicate it now, aren't I? I did say I wanted this to be green or pink, but oh well. And come on in. This is with that mini blending brush set from Spellbinders. But the bigger ones are going to be harder to control. You're going to need these little detail ones for something like this, okay? But the price point on something like this is actually not bad. Thank goodness. So it's not like, you know, it's going to be a huge investment for smaller blending brushes. That's the plus side of a small blending brush. Okay, I'm going to wipe it off on the paper towel, because I want to dedicate this to a different color. Let's unveil. Gently peel. Notice I'm holding the stencil down while I'm peeling. It's just you don't want stuff shifting and going places you don't want it to go. So just hold it down while I do this lift. And then, ooh la la, I'm liking. Look at that blue. Oh yes, sea glass. I think sea glass is my new best friend. Loving it. All right, so there we go. Wipe this off. Get some more of that alcohol. Wipe as you go. Again, be careful of these little parts, okay? You have a glass mat like I do, wipe the glass mat too. The ink will come down here. It will. You can pat. All right, now we're going to go into quadrant number 3. This is now with the leaves, okay? I had a little shift here, but it's okay. It's okay. You're still pretty. This is the main part I was concerned about. You can use those registration marks. I do the eyeballing. I know it's bad, but I do eyeball. The registration marks are here. What you're looking for, see that registration mark? You want to cover up this line right here where that's the flower. Cover the flower. Also, here's another spot. That's the flower. You want to be right on the edge of it. If you're eyeballing it, just showing you that there are different ways of lining it up. This part, that part is the part you're looking at. Not hard. It's just hard because I'm filming it. And showing you guys. My head would normally be here. So it's like I'm at a weird angle doing this. There's quadrant 3. Taped it around. Did that wraparound. I think I like the wraparound better instead of going from the back. It's easier to manage. I'm going to put tape here. I'm going to put a piece of that mint tape here, covering up anything that's open that I don't want to accidentally over ink, because I did that before and I had to put a gem on top of it. You have a few different things going on here. You have a bunch of leaves, 4 centers, okay? I'm going to do the leaves for a center last, so go with the lighter color. And I like this combination. Fresh asparagus and key lime. 1 light, 1 dark. 2 green blenders. I got a dark one and I got a light one. I'll put this set of blending brushes in the extra section if you're interested. These are from Amazon. These are a smaller head than the large head. Here you can use, but you see how big this is? It can easily go into that. That's why I don't want to use this type of thing, okay? But this size, fine. And I like it when it comes with the cap. You pay a little extra for the cap. Not crazy, but you do pay extra for it. If you don't want the cap, then you're going to spend a little less money. But then all these brushes start hanging out with each other a lot and start touching each other. Kind of like what I have going on here. I just got a second set because I like to keep my color families separated. Light green from the darker green, things like that. But that's me. You don't have to do it. I do. I know it bothers me, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to get another set. But you don't have to do what I do. I'm just funny that way. That's just my process. But you do your process. And I don't generally wash them that much either. That's probably why I do want a light green and a dark green, because I can keep lighter green inks on one brush and the darker one, and I don't have to be washing. Did some washing the other day and I regretted it. I was like, why did I wash you? But it had gotten hard because I didn't clean the brush head. When you're done with it, just wipe them off in a microfiber cloth. And I get a great deal on Amazon brand microfiber cloth at Amazon. Let me tell you, fabulous. You can use them for your house. I use all of mine for crafting. I love them. I clean my stamps with them. I'll put the link for it below, seeing that I'm mentioning it here. You can use them for everything else too. Dusting and etc. Ooh, pretty. You notice that when I go back left, see how it's creating like a light and dark in and of itself? I don't know. Sometimes the magic happens. Other times the magic don't happen, like up here. But then other times it's like it just does it by itself, like a little self-highlighting. I love that. That workshop. I mean, Kim taught so many good stuff. And her name was Kim. And Nicole answered all those questions. She even talked about, I have a collection coming out in the fall. I'm like, thank you for adding that extra stress. Hint, hint, dies. That's all I'm going to say. Nothing else. So I was excited to be invited for something like that. But boy, I'm going to tell you right now, it's nerve-wracking. I thought it was going to be like, oh, this is so much fun-ish. You have to make decisions with it. You have to lose some of the things that you were hoping to get. You can add things that you're like, wow, the elf. Yeah. The elf was there. I was just like, thank you, elf. If you guys are like, what is she talking about? Spellbinders elf. The person that makes a set like, oh, this finishes the whole set. Oh, this is the magic. That person. Okay, this is the asparagus, the darker color. See how I went into that darker color? Switch brush. That's just me, okay? You don't have to do it, but I like to do it. And then I'm going like towards the bottom of the leaf. More like this. Kind of like that. Getting more this look, where it's light on the top going into the dark, and then fresh asparagus again for those veins and stems, etc. Come over here, tap it off. Now you see how close I am to the center there? Thank goodness I'm using brown. That's all I can say. Come over here and blend, blend, blend. And I think those of you that bought the Glimmer kit, you guys got some invitation. I don't have it. I was already sent these products to, you know, in the Hexy Gems collection and the Glimmer card front. So I'm not part of your group, but definitely join that Facebook group because you guys can get to ask questions, show stuff. And there were some tips that were like, people were giving tips all over the place. I'm reading. Then I started to Glimmer with the workshop, which was a mistake because then I was missing all the tips. I wasn't reading anymore. I realized I can't do both at the same time. I'm going to clean this up a little bit before I get into it, into those centers. See what I'm doing? Just taking my finger here, holding this part. Don't go big, just go round gently. And just wipe off the excess so you don't accidentally pick it up, okay? This is fresh asparagus, key lime. So love. Now we're going to go into that brown. It's 2 layers actually. It's this, and then over the next one is even darker. Going to go with a honey mustard, and then because this is all dye ink, guess what? I can use distress ink. Let's go honey mustard here. I got my little brown brush. And I love that these are color-coded. Don't you see it? Don't you love it? Tap it off. Come on in. You can change the colors. Like if I wanted a different color. Now look how on yellow it's looking one way over here on the blue. Because the blue is a different shade. It's coming out much darker. So I don't even have to change my inks here then. I love that. You see it? So the yellow will have a different center, but the blue has a darker center. So let's work. Right there. Could you use this in it? Yes. But okay. Done. Yay. Honey mustard or any distress ink. You can go into the browns. I brought my browns. Here are your distressed browns. I could have used Rusty Hinge, Tea Dye, Gathered Twigs, Vintage Photo. These are the super dark ones. This will be over here, okay? And yes, you could use this in oxide. I just sometimes don't like the powdery finish for things like this. I like the dye ink. Peel this back to reveal. Ooh, there we go. Yay. Look how pretty she is. I'm loving the yellow and the blues. Are you liking that color combination? I think I'm liking this color combination, especially with this. Here I did the corals. I would have done this because this is a lighter colorway. Let's go into the last bit of goodness. But I got to clean first. Mint tape has a much lighter stick. Kind of like using the Post-it to hold down things. Super, super light, which is okay. Sometimes that's all that you need. Still using the same paper towel. And gently wipe. See, this one now I can definitely pull. I don't have any edges here that can pick up. Flip, wipe again, flip it over, and wipe one more time. And again here, because things will transfer here. You'll be surprised. She's such a good carrier of ink and alcohol, ink and everything. You just have to make sure that you clean it, okay? All right, last quadrant. Quadrant number 4. Technically with the registration marks, there they are, but I kind of did my own eyeballing. If you color in the full registration circle, you'll have a better thing than how I did the little funny dots. Because my dots are not super accurate. But what you're looking for, like, okay, see there? Just bring it down to about there. And you want to be inside all these leaves. I think this is actually pretty good. I still eyeball it, but the registration marks are there if you want to use it. But eyeballing it still works. You do you. I'm doing me. I'm an eyeball person. I still have to eyeball it just to make sure for my sanity. All right, I'm going to cover up this registration mark here. I have it taped on the 2 sides. And that's good to go right now. Now we're going to do some covering. Cover here. I don't think I'm going to go that far out, but I did one time. So you see that gem? That's that dot. I did ink all the way out there. I was like, okay, lesson learned. Cover it. Cover it. Cover it. Yeah, there you go. You can reuse these. Just cover it. On the last card, this was coming in a little bit more, so I'm going to just cover it anyway. We did honey mustard. That's as brown as I get with the Gina K, so I'm going to come in with my distress inks. I got all these brushes to clean at the end. I have some green, some yellow. I'll show you how to clean it at the end. These are, somebody did ask me the question. This is a simple storage box from Tailored Expressions. It holds 15 ink cubes. I love it because you can see. The only drawback, because of how it's packed so tight, sometimes to get the cubes out, you see what's happening, is a pain. But I like that it holds 15 cubes, and it also holds it too with the sponge. Sold at Tailored Expressions. Currently not in stock because I wanted to get another box for these. But I use all my little ink cubes in this type of thing. Just in case you're wondering, like, what's that clear box that she's using? That's so, I like it too because it's pretty and it locks. Look at that. $5 for the box. Not bad. I need to go in here green, centers brown. I'm going to use Walnut Stain. So coming back into the dark green, fresh asparagus. Let me bring over. Isn't this nice that it just holds right here? Okay, so let's bring it right here. Fresh asparagus, Walnut Stain. This is nice because then on the bottom, some inks on the bottom, they don't have the name. So you won't mix up your inks. Come in lightly. So I'm doing like the lighter color first. This is a much darker color. But this now you could do definitely with those smaller brushes. Now I want this to be built up. See how dark I'm going? Like a few layers of it. I think it looks good that way. Go left and right, left and right. Left and right does something like gets it going. You see how it's going in better? Like that. Okay? Again, left and right, little touch. All right. Again, all the way out here. Be careful of this little spot. That lifted on me once, so just be careful of it, okay? But outside of that, pretty easy stencil to work with, thank goodness. It's not crazy. I have some stencils that are like absolutely crazy. Where they connect, they end up bleeding a lot on each other. This is not the case here. That looks pretty good to me. Walnut Stain, and boom. Or, I really didn't want to go with this, but hey. Didn't I say I was going to do this in pink? Maybe not. Maybe green. Maybe I can clean it down, bring it back to green, but it's just so pretty in the white. That's why I wanted to dedicate it. But look at that. Because see how it's keeping me here instead of bringing it out here. And it gets into these little nooks here. This little place here that it's just super hard to get into. I kind of like pouncing it on and pushing, pouncing to get the color in. So you can absolutely use your oxides, your distress ink. And because this is so small, notice I didn't have to clean off all that green either. Love that. We are done, crafters. Clean this first before I reveal. I don't want to accidentally touch it. See how the ink just gets everywhere? I'm going to clean the whole thing. Even if you're not using the glass board, any glass mat, just clean it before it's grabbing. Oh, love. I love it. Oh, it's so pretty. Look at that. Isn't that colorway pretty? Oh my gosh, I'm loving that yellow and blue. New favorite combo here. I thought I was loving the purple. See, this is the purple with the spruce, but this is like fresh. I mean, look at that for somebody's birthday. You could not have this whole glimmer card front. Put that stencil on a piece of hammer mill or whichever smooth cardstock you're using, Bristol too, and then put the sentiment happy birthday. Love. I'm going to let this sit for a second, but we're not done with this one yet. But I'm going to let it sit, let the ink kind of do its thing. We're going to clean this up. Now this I can dump. The yellow tape I'm keeping, but this I can dump. Then I'm going to clean this up. Same thing. I can spray here, but this is a lot of, look at the alcohol already working. All right. You want to be careful right here. Go into it. So you go in the direction of that point. If not, this is what's going to happen. You don't want to flip it back, okay? Same thing right there. You can pat, but if you pat, you know, yeah, you'd have to get it super wet. But you see how I'm also coming down here? Just be careful with that. You could get the stencil only, or you could get the stencil and the die. I'm loving the die. Like, if I only had received the stencil, I would have bought the set with the die because I like to have the option of the die. That just allows you the ability to pop it up and do all kinds of extra things with it. And if you go outside the lines too much, you can just cut it with the die. This is one of my Amazon microfiber cloth. Here you can see a little bit of ink. So on this end where it's at, I would take the brush like so and just rub it in. See how the ink is coming off? You can do this on paper towel. I've watched Gina K's video. She rubs it in a paper towel. You want to rub it till it comes out clean. Okay? So this is how I clean it. But also showing you something else on the clean end. And at Amazon, you get a whole pack of this. So I would use a different one. But seeing that we're here and I'm showing you this. Sometimes with the ink blending, because the ink is all over this, it'll cover it or kind of mute down the foil. You take a clean side of the microfiber and you gently buff. So with the buffing, the ink is already dry. And you buff in the two directions. You see how it's coming off? So by buffing it, I'm cleaning off that excess ink off the foiling. Now you see the pop. Yeah, you see it? Alrighty, crafters. Now this card is done. All I need to do is just put this on an A2 card base, erase my little registration marks. But this is so easy to use, so satisfying. Look how pretty. I'm loving this colorway. You know, I should have done this last week, I guess, for Mother's Day tomorrow. But anyway, this card is full of hugs. Alrighty, crafters, I just wanted to hop on real quick, seeing that a lot of folks asked about how to use the stencil. Show you how to use the stencil and Look how beautiful she is when you color her up. I think she's just a great little tool to help you with your crafting. You're in a pinch, work with this one. You can then die cut. The die is super easy. That's just the die right there. There you go. See? Tape it down again, yellow tape, run it through. But if I use the die here, of course, it's going to ruin my sentiment. So the combination is stencil only or stencil and die set. Love this combination. So you could have more fun. That's that Essential Hexi Gems die. Did you guys see this in the workshop? Oh, just love. And if you have the class kit, it's in there. Alrighty, crafters, everything will be detailed and linked below. Thanks so much for watching. Again, I made a boo-boo this morning. I got to that workshop late myself. So I'll be watching it again because I learned so many things. Thank goodness it is a repeat and a replay. So I will link the replay below. I will put Glimmer Workshop Replay and then put the link. Also, I will still put the main class kit and the advanced class kit, because if you're going to buy a bunch of these products from the Hexi Gems collection and the Glimmer Card Front collection, you might want to get the kit, because in the kit it's bundled, it's a reduced price. You can look on Spellbinders webpage what exactly comes in the kit and weigh it out. Does it make sense? Or if it doesn't make sense, okay? And with that kit, you're going to get access to that Facebook group where you guys can share your projects and ask questions and continue the Glimmer conversation. But a lot of folks who were frustrated and wanted to chuck their Glimmer machine were glimmering during the workshop and were saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. So it is still worth watching. Alrighty, crafters. Hope you enjoyed the beautiful stencil too. She's just an added bonus to all your Glimmer goodness. Until the next video, stay crafty, my friends. Bye.